the perfectionism loop that kills your dreams, and the 5-minute fix. You know that loop where you set a high bar, open the doc, feel your chest tighten, then quickly reorganize folders for an hour? You draft 10 versions and send none. You stall on a decision till the deadline makes it for you. That's the perfectionism loop, high standards turning into paralysis. Here's the paradox. You're not broken or lazy, you're skilled at protection. Perfectionism is a safety play from your nervous system, not a character flaw. Here's the fix. A 5-minute done is better reset you can run anywhere, no willpower required. You'll get a 1-sentence reframe and a tiny 3-step ritual that produces real output fast. In a minute, I'll map the 4 stages clinically and the hidden mistake that makes perfectionism worse. Mini-Payoff first, the 1-sentence reframe. Here's the quick win up front: lower the bar to move the bar. Progress creates quality. Most people try to think their way into confidence. Pros act their way into it. When the bar is impossibly high, your brain flags threat and slams on the brakes. When the bar is low and specific, you move, and motion generates clarity, feedback, and momentum. Let me make this practical. Pick a minimum move you can't fail today. 2 sentences, 1 slide, 1 rep. Not the final version, just the first visible step that proves you're in motion. This isn't about lowering your standards forever. It's about lowering the standard for the first pass so the second pass exists. The thing most people miss is that quality emerges from iteration, not from perfecting in your head. First, you ship a minimum viable pass, then you add 1 upgrade, then another. If you remember nothing else, remember this: the first pass solves inertia, not quality. Let me show you exactly how to use it with an email you've been avoiding. Subject line: rough first pass, quick check, 3 lines, context in 1 sentence. Your answer in 1 sentence. Clear ask in 1 sentence. Add the word draft at the top so your brain feels safe. Send it to 1 trusted person, not the whole group. That's your minimum move. After it's out, you can iterate. Why this works? Your brain overweights social risk and underweights learning. Labeling something as a draft and constraining the output lowers perceived threat. You still get feedback, which is the only route to real quality. The relief you usually get from avoiding now gets replaced by a small hit of progress, which is reinforcing. That's the swap we're after. Here's a quick micro story. Last week, a coaching client sat on a pitch deck for 10 days because the opener has to be flawless. We lowered the bar to 1 ugly slide with a headline and 1 metric. She built it in 3 minutes, then added 1 upgrade, a simple chart. She shared the draft with a single peer and got a tweak that completely sharpened her narrative. 2 reps later, the deck landed a meeting. The difference wasn't some genius technique. It was getting to a visible first pass fast. Now, a few common mistakes. First, lowering the bar everywhere. Don't do that. Keep your high standard for the finished deliverable, only lower for the first pass. Second, hiding behind minimum so you never upgrade. The reframe isn't an excuse to ship sloppy work, it's permission to start and then schedule the upgrade. Third, vague minimums. Work on it isn't a minimum move. 5 ugly bullets is. Let's create your quick win right now. Think of the task you're avoiding most today. Set a micro goal that you cannot fail in 3 minutes or less. Options you can steal. Write 2 sentences that answer 1 question your reader has. Create 1 slide with a title and a placeholder chart. Draft 5 ugly bullets that capture your main points. Record a 30-second voice memo explaining your thesis. Outline 3 milestones and 1 next action for your project. Add 1 safety rail so your nervous system chills. Label it draft, put a timer on for 3 minutes, and choose an audience of 1. No editing during the timer. Output over polish. When the timer ends, log 1 keep grow fix note and schedule the next tiny action. That's it. This clicked for me when I realized I was trying to win the whole game in the first inning. I'd stall, then shame myself, then raise the bar even higher next time. The loop fed itself. When I committed to a minimum viable pass plus 1 upgrade, my throughput doubled, and ironically, so did the quality, because I was finally getting feedback early. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to negotiate with their fear before they move. Don't. Set the timer first. The ritual creates the state, not the other way around. You'll feel resistance. That's normal. You're not proving worth, you're collecting reps. Let me give you 1 more concrete example, writing the dreaded opening paragraph. Minimum move, 5 sentences using a simple scaffold, thesis, why it matters, 1 example, 1 objection, 1 promised takeaway, write it badly on purpose. Put bad first draft in the title. When the timer dings, stop, keep the core idea. Grow, add 1 clearer example. Fix, trim sentence 2. Next, schedule a 10-minute edit later. Stay with me, after this quick win, I'll map the 4-stage loop that explains exactly why this worked. But for now, run the minimum move on your most avoided task today. Lower the bar to move the bar. Then we'll use that momentum as leverage to break the loop for good. The clinical map, the 4-stage perfectionism loop. Now let's map the loop stealing your energy so you can see it and step out of it. 4 stages, and they feed each other. Idealized, standard, threat appraisal, avoidance or delay, and self-criticism. The hidden engine is the relief you feel when you avoid. That relief rewards the behavior and tightens the loop next time. Brené Brown's decades of research on shame and perfectionism, spanning the 2000s-2020s, frames perfectionism as a defense against vulnerability, not a path to excellence. Neuroimaging work also shows that when anticipating mistakes, perfectionistic brains can show roughly 60% higher amygdala activation, which makes avoidance feel smart in the moment. Stage 1, idealized standard. This is the quiet rule in your head that says perfect or nothing. It often hides behind vague words like polished, tight, or insanely good. The problem isn't high standards, it's fuzzy, absolute standards at the wrong time. You're measuring a first pass against a final cut. Because there's no observable definition of good enough to start, the target morphs into an impossible one. The brain reads that ambiguity as risk. If you can't hit perfect, you might get judged. So the standard inflates until starting feels unsafe. Stage 2, threat appraisal. Once the bar is unreal, your brain does what brains do. It runs scenarios about what could go wrong. You imagine an audience, amplify the consequences, and catastrophize. Social risk gets overweighted, learning is undervalued. This is classic cognitive distortion territory, black and white thinking, mind reading, if-then catastrophes. Label that for what it is, a prediction, not reality. But in the moment, it feels real. The nervous system's job is to protect you, so it flags the task as threat. Suddenly your heart rate ticks up, your chest tightens, and it seems smart to slow down until it's safer. Stage 3, avoidance or delay. Here's the kicker. The minute you postpone, you feel better. That tiny hit of relief is powerful reinforcement. The habit loop learns delay equals safety. So you research a bit more, clean up the files, rework the outline, anything that looks busy but avoids exposure. It doesn't feel like avoidance, it feels responsible. But neurologically, the relief is training the behavior. The longer you delay, the more your brain pairs avoidance with comfort and pairs action with threat. That's the hidden engine. Avoidance wins a short game and makes the long game harder. Stage 4, self-criticism. The clock runs, the consequence looms, and shame spikes. You tell yourself global, identity-level stories. I'm sloppy. I'm always behind. I'm not cut out for this. That pain makes you vow to never let this happen again, so you raise the standard even higher for next time, which throws you right back to stage 1 with an even more impossible bar. The loop tightens. The game changer nobody talks about is how relief functions here. Relief is the reward that teaches your brain to keep avoiding. That's why trying to muscle through with willpower collapses by midweek, you're competing with a faster, easier reward. If you remember nothing else, remember this. To break the loop, you don't argue with fear. You replace the relief of avoidance with the satisfaction of progress. That's the lever our 5-minute reset pulls. Let me show you how these stages can run in under 5 minutes in real life. You open the doc for a proposal. Stage 1 whispers, this has to be airtight, no holes. Stage 2 pictures your client poking holes and your boss watching. Stage 3 nudges, let me just collect a few more examples, and suddenly you're in 12 tabs feeling strangely productive. Relief washes in because you're not exposed. Later, when time is gone, stage 4 arrives with a bat, you did it again. Shame burns, you overwork in a panic, and promise a stricter standard next time, which restarts the cycle. Once you see the loop, you can intervene at any stage. In stage 1, you define an acceptable first draft in observable terms, 5 bullets, 1 chart, 1 story. In stage 2, you label the fear. prediction, not reality, and add safety rails like a draft, watermark, or a review gate with one trusted person. In stage 3, you swap avoidance for a micro-action that creates output. Just open, just outline, just one bad version. In stage 4, you shift from identity attacks to behavior-specific notes and a next tiny action. Each of those moves cuts the fuel line to relief-based avoidance. Why this mapping matters. When you understand that your nervous system is rewarding avoidance with relief, you stop taking it personally. It's not moral failure, it's a trained loop. And trained loops can be retrained. The 5-minute reset works because it flips the reward. A timer, a draft label, an audience of one, and a 3-minute ugly output deliver a small, certain hit of progress. Your brain learns, starting feels safer than stalling. Do that rep enough times, and momentum becomes the default. Stay with me. Next, we'll unpack each stage, so you can spot it fast and sidestep it before it steals your day. Stage 1 deep dive, idealized standards. Before we can move, we have to fix the starting line. Idealized standards sound noble, but they quietly shift the game from produce a first pass to deliver the final cut now. When the target is vague and absolute, polished, tight, insanely good, your brain can't find a foothold. Ambiguity plus high stakes equals perceived threat. That's why you feel that chest tightness the moment you open the dock. You're trying to climb a wall with no visible holds. The thing most people miss is that high standards aren't the issue, timing and clarity are. A world-class standard belongs at the end of the cycle, not at minute 1. Without a clear definition of acceptable first draft, your mind fills the gap with fantasy perfection. You don't have a craft problem, you have a criteria problem. So what do you watch for? Listen for fuzzy language that can't be observed. Needs to feel compelling, needs to be airtight, needs to look professional. Those are outcomes of iterations, not inputs for a first pass. Also watch for hidden absolutes. No mistakes, must be bulletproof, can't have gaps. Absolutes kill movement because they set a zero-defect threshold on a stage that exists to make mistakes cheaply. Now, how do we fix it? We replace fuzzy ideals with observable minimums. Define acceptable first draft in concrete behaviors you can finish in minutes. Use my quick test. Could a stranger watch you work and say, yes, they hit it without reading your mind? Here's the shortcut I use, the MVP plus 2 upgrades rule. Your first pass is the minimum viable pass, only the essential skeleton that proves the idea exists. Then you pre-commit to exactly 2 upgrades, not 12. That caps the spiral and keeps momentum. After that, you can schedule additional upgrades if needed, but you never aim for final form on pass 1. Let me make it real. Presentation coming up, acceptable first draft equals. Outline 5 bullets that tell the story arc, add 1 simple chart that supports your key metric, and write 1 short story or example that humanizes the point. That's it. MVP is the 5 bullets. Upgrade 1 is the chart. Upgrade 2 is the story. Notice how each element is observable. You either have 5 bullets or you don't. Writing a blog post? Acceptable first draft equals. Headline option, 5-sentence scaffold thesis, why it matters, example, objection, takeaway, plus 1 stat source you can verify later. MVP is the scaffold. Upgrade 1 is the headline option. Upgrade 2 is the stat placeholder. You're not making it good. You're making it exist, then giving it 2 bumps. Design mock, acceptable first draft equals. Wireframe with 3 sections blocked, placeholder copy, and 1 color choice to test contrast. MVP is the wireframe. Upgrade 1 is placeholder copy. Upgrade 2 is the color choice. You resist typography rabbit holes until the next slot. Now here's where most people mess up. They aim for final form in the first pass and call it being thorough. That's not thorough. That's hiding indecision behind quality language. Another mistake is writing minimums that aren't minimum. Draft the full outline with supporting research and visuals isn't a minimum. It's 3 projects in a trench coat. Also, beware of conditional minimums. I'll just write 5 bullets unless it flows, then I'll finish the whole thing. That's a loophole for perfectionism to sneak back in. Let me show you exactly how to write an observable first pass spec. Use 3 parts: scope, evidence, upgrade. Scope, 5 bullets that cover problem, cause, method, example, CTA. Evidence, can paste into slide 1 verbatim. Upgrade, add 1 chart of metric X. You can say done or not done without debating feelings. The reason this works is simple. Criteria reduces threat. When your brain sees a small, finishable target, it downgrades the task from existential risk to doable rep. You get to complete something and bank the progress reward. That reward competes with avoidance relief and starts retraining the loop. One more micro story. A founder I coach kept refining his investor memo and never shared it. We set an acceptable first draft, title, 1-paragraph problem, 3 bullets on traction, and 1 chart. MVP plus 2 upgrades. He finished in 9 minutes, sent it to a single advisor labeled draft, and got a precise note. Move the metric chart up. 2 iterations later, he had a clean memo. The shift wasn't talent, it was moving the standard to the right step. Remember, keep the bar high at the finish line, not the starting line. Define acceptable first drafts in observable terms, run MVP plus 2 upgrades, and you'll feel that internal pressure drop just enough to start. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. Stage 2 deep dive, threat appraisal. Before we continue, you need to understand what your brain is doing the moment that idealized standard shows up. Threat appraisal is the split-second calculation. If I ship this as is, what happens to me? Your brain isn't trying to make art. It's trying to keep you safe, and it's biased. It overweights social risk and underweights learning. That bias is why your palms sweat over a draft that only one person will see. The thing most people miss is that threat appraisal isn't logical, it's protective. The nervous system scans for danger, not nuance, so it fills in the gaps with worst-case stories. If this has a hole, they'll think I'm incompetent. That's mind reading plus catastrophizing. When those distortions run the show, your body reacts as if exposure equals harm, and avoidance starts to look like wisdom. Why this matters? If you treat these predictions as facts, you'll wait for certainty that never comes. The consequence is simple: no reps, no feedback, no improvement. When you learn to label a prediction as a prediction, you create just enough distance to act. You shift from "this will go badly" to "my brain is forecasting risk." Good to know. What's the smallest safe exposure that gets data? So what does threat appraisal look like in the wild? Listen for invented audiences and inflated costs. Everyone will see this when it's 2 people. If this first draft isn't airtight, the project is dead when it's an internal check. Also watch for binary thinking, perfect or rejected. That binary erases the middle where growth happens: drafts, feedback, upgrades. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches: safety rails. You don't need to feel fearless to move. You need a structure that lowers perceived cost. 3 practical rails. Add a draft watermark or put draft V1 at the top. It signals iteration to others and, more importantly, to you. Limit exposure to an audience of 1, a trusted peer, not the entire team. Insert a review gate. I'll send this version for signal only. Line edits come later. Let me show you exactly how to implement this with a scary email. You label it draft signal check. You send to one person with 2 questions. Is the ask clear? And what's missing at the 10,000-foot level? You're not asking them to grade your identity. You're asking for a signal. That's a smaller threat with a bigger learning payoff. Now here's where most people mess up. They skip tiny exposures and wait for a mythical moment of readiness. Or they try to calm down first by mentally debating every feared outcome. That's a trap. The longer you sit with imagined futures, the more vivid they feel, and the scarier a small action becomes. Instead, label it prediction, not reality. Then immediately run a 60-second exposure, 1 micro output that disproves the catastrophe by existing. A quick micro story. A product manager I coach had to propose a roadmap change to a prickly stakeholder. He delayed for a week, convinced one misphrased sentence would blow up the relationship. We added safety rails, a draft V1 header, a single slide outline, and an audience of 1, his manager, before the stakeholder. He sent it in 4 minutes. The manager replied, "Great direction. Add 1 metric." The feared explosion never came. The exposure created data, and his threat appraisal recalibrated. The reason this works is simple. Your brain updates fear with experience, not arguments. Tiny exposures create proof that the cost isn't what you predicted and that you can handle the response. Each rep shrinks the imagined audience and right-sizes the consequences. You train confidence by doing, not by convincing yourself. Let me give you a concrete protocol you can copy today. Call it define, downgrade, deliver. Define the fear in 1 sentence. I'm predicting they'll think X. Downgrade the exposure. Add a draft label, choose an audience of 1, time box to 3 minutes. Deliver 1 visible unit. 5 bullets, 1 slide, 3 lines. Common mistakes to avoid: adding new reviewers midstream, expanding scope during exposure, or rewriting for tone to soothe anxiety. Tone polishing is avoidance in disguise. Get the signal first, then schedule tone in upgrade 2. And here's the payoff you'll feel quickly. Once you nail this, everything else clicks. You'll notice your heart rate drop after the microsend. That's progress dopamine competing with avoidance relief. Do this a few times, and your brain starts to appraise risk more accurately. It learns drafts are safe. Feedback helps. Small exposure beats endless rehearsal. Stay with me. Next, we'll hit the avoidance stage, where relief hijacks motivation, and I'll give you a 5 tokens plan that swaps busy work for real movement. Stage 3 deep dive, avoidance delay. Now we're at the stage that hijacks your day without looking like sabotage. Avoidance gives relief, and relief trains the loop. The second your nervous system tags a task as risky, anything that reduces exposure feels brilliant. That's why avoidance rarely looks like Netflix. It looks like productive detours. What should you watch for? 3 big patterns. First, research spirals. Opening 10 tabs to make sure you have every angle, then adding 5 more because one might be missing. Second, reorganizing tools. New folders, new Notion databases, new labels, everything except the actual output. Third, micro-optimizations. Rewriting a subject line 10 times before you've drafted the body, tweaking slide spacing while the story is blank. The reason this is sticky is the reward. The moment you delay, your body exhales. That relief is a fast, certain payoff. Your brain learns avoiding equals safety, starting equals threat. So it nudges you toward tasks that look like work but avoid judgment. Busy work becomes soothing because it keeps you near the task without risk of feedback. Before we continue, here's the game changer. You can't out-argue relief. You replace it. We swap avoidance dopamine for progress dopamine using a 5 tokens, plan tiny, output-first actions you can cash in anytime the urge to delay hits. Here's the model. You hold 5 tokens per session. Each token buys 1 micro-action that produces visible output in under a minute. The sequence is fixed to prevent drift. Token 1, just open. Open the doc, deck, or canvas. Count it as a win. Token 2, just title. Name the file with outcome plus date v1. Now it exists. Token 3, just outline. 5 ugly bullets that cover the main arc. Token 4, just 1 bad version. Expand 1 bullet into 3 ugly sentences or 1 ugly slide. Token 5, just ship signal. Share to an audience of 1 with a draft label and 1 question. Why the sequence matters. Each step narrows ambiguity and creates proof. You're not negotiating with fear, you're advancing the artifact. And because each token is tiny, the resistance is small enough to step over. Let me show you exactly how this runs on a stuck brief. You feel the urge to collect a few more examples. Pause. Token 1, open the brief. Token 2, title Q3 positioning brief V1 2025-0112. Token 3, 5 bullets audience, pain, promise, proof, next step. Token 4, write 3 ugly sentences under pain. Token 5, ship to your partner labeled draft V1, signal only, is the structure right? That's 5 minutes. You got relief, but from progress. Now here's where most people mess up. They turn micro steps into new perfection traps. Outline 5 bullets becomes outline 5 bullets with sources and phrasing. Or they spend tokens on setup tasks like picking templates or choosing fonts. Tokens are only for output that moves the artifact forward. If it doesn't change what someone could read or see, it's not a token. Common mistakes to avoid. Polishing within tokens. If you catch yourself rewriting, you've broken the rule. Write a future note, fix tone in upgrade 2, then move. Expanding scope mid-run. New idea, park it in a later box. Token sequence stays intact. Adding reviewers to feel safer. More eyes increase perceived threat. Audience of 1, signal only. Let me add 2 safety rails so your nervous system stays calm. First, hard time boxes, 60 seconds per token. Use a visible timer. When it dings, you stop even mid-sentence. Second, draft labeling, draft V1, bad first draft, or rough pass, signal only. Labeling isn't cosmetic, it's a permission slip that lowers perceived risk. A quick micro story. A designer I coach used to prep for hours before mocking anything up: color palettes, icon packs, grid systems. We installed 5 tokens. She opened Figma, named the file, blocked 3 sections with gray boxes, duplicated 1 section with placeholder copy, and sent a screenshot to a single PM asking, "Is this the right hierarchy?" The PM replied in 2 minutes, "Yes, swap sections 2 and 3. That 2-sentence signal saved her a day of polishing the wrong order. The reason this works is the same reason avoidance worked: reinforcement. Each token gives a tiny completion hit. 5 hits in 5 minutes beat the single hit of delay. Over time, your brain pairs start with relief and avoid with lingering tension. You're rewiring, not white-knuckling. If you remember nothing else from this stage, remember this: busy feels safe because it dodges judgment, but only output creates learning. Carry 5 tokens. Spend them in order. No polishing during tokens. Audience of 1. Draft label. That's how you swap the avoidance reward for a progress reward and break the hidden engine of the loop. Stage 4 deep dive, self-criticism. Now we hit the part that stings, the crash after avoidance. The deadline looms, output is thin, and your brain grabs a megaphone. Self-criticism floods in as global judgments: "I'm sloppy. I always mess this up. I'm not cut out for this." Shame spikes, which feels like motivation, but actually tightens the loop. You vow to never let this happen again, then ratchet the standard higher. That promise feels righteous and safe, but it throws you right back to stage 1 with an even tougher bar. Why this matters? Shame narrows attention to the self, not the behavior. When you attack your identity, you get paralysis, not performance. You can't iterate on "I'm a mess." You can iterate on "my intro ran long" or "I didn't define scope." The thing most people miss is that self-criticism masquerades as accountability. It's not. It's avoidance with worse PR. Instead of facing the work, you fight your self-concept. Here's what to watch for. Global labels: lazy, incompetent, time pressure threats. "If I don't fix this today, I'm done." Retroactive mind reading: they all noticed. They think I'm slipping. Binary verdicts: either I nail this now or I'm behind forever. Those thoughts feel protective because they promise control, be harsher, be better, but they actually drain the energy you need to do the next small thing. So how do we flip this? We swap identity attacks for behavior-specific notes and an immediate next action. Use a simple frame I call Keep, Grow, Fix plus Next. It's a critique sandwich that stays concrete and moves you forward. Keep: 1 thing that worked. Grow: 1 element to expand. Fix: 1 snag to trim. Next: a tiny, scheduled action that addresses exactly 1 item. You don't need a personality transplant. You need a plan you can execute in minutes. Let me show you exactly how. You missed your writing block and feel the shame wave coming. Pause and write. Keep: the core idea is strong. Grow: add 1 sharper example. Fix: shorten the setup. Next, schedule a 10-minute edit at 3 p.m. to add the example. That's it. No life sentences, no character trials. You turn criticism into coaching and action. Why this works? Your nervous system calms when you move from vague blame to specific behavior. Specificity shrinks threat. The moment you log a concrete next step and timebox it, you trade ruminating for movement. You also generate a small, certain win, which gives you the progress hit that competes with avoidance. You're retraining the loop at the very point shame usually locks it in. Common mistakes to avoid. First, postmortems without a next action. Don't stack insights and walk away. Every Keep, Grow, Fix ends with a scheduled tiny step. Second, overloading fixes. If you list 7 problems, you'll freeze. Pick 1 fix per pass. Third, turning keep into a backhanded insult. Keep: "at least I showed up" is sarcasm, not data. Keep should highlight something replicable. Keep: clear headline. Fourth, debating fairness. You don't have to decide whether you deserve the outcome. You need to decide what you'll do for the next rep. Here's a quick micro story. A marketer I coach would miss internal deadlines, then spend hours journaling about discipline. We swapped to Keep, Grow, Fix plus Next. After a slip, she wrote: "Keep: the hook lands, grow, add 1 social proof. Fix: cut 30 words. Next, 3:30 p.m., paste 1 testimonial." She did the 3:30 step, felt a quick win, and momentum returned. 2 weeks later, her cycle time dropped because she wasn't burning hours in self-trial. Another tool that helps: time-bound self-review. Give yourself 3 minutes to write Keep, Grow, Fix, then stop. Add a 30-second breath if your body's revved up. Label the shame as a signal, not a verdict. My system's protecting me from embarrassment. Thanks, we've got a plan. It sounds corny. It works because it acknowledges the protective reflex and redirects it into structure. And if you're under external pressure, bosses or stakeholders who expect polish, set the expectation of iterations up front. Here's draft V1 for signal. I'll process feedback and ship V2 by tomorrow. You're not hiding. You're framing the process so that feedback doesn't feel like condemnation to your nervous system or theirs. If you remember nothing else from this stage, remember this. Shame raises the bar and freezes your feet. Coaching lowers the first step and gets you moving. Trade what's wrong with me for what worked, what to grow, what to fix, and what's next. Then do the next tiny thing on a timer. That move breaks the self-criticism seal and hands momentum back to you. Emotional reframe. It's a protective reflex. Okay, so let's take the pressure off your identity. Perfectionism isn't you being broken. It's your nervous system running a safety play. Brené Brown's 20-plus years of research on shame and vulnerability underline this. Perfectionism is protection, not a virtue signal. When the stakes feel high and the path is fuzzy, your brain does its job, it protects. It's not a quality strategy. It's a safety strategy trying to spare you pain, rejection, embarrassment, wasted effort. Once you see that, the tone changes from judgment to coaching. And the neuroscience lines up. Anticipating errors can spike amygdala activation by about 60% in perfectionistic contexts, which explains why your body hits the brakes before you've even started. Why this clicks? You thought you were failing at discipline. You're actually succeeding at threat detection. The freeze, the delays, the over-editing, those are protective reflexes like throwing a hand up before a ball hits your face. Useful in danger, clumsy at a keyboard. When you treat protection like a moral flaw, you add shame, which spikes threat and re-triggers the loop. When you treat protection like a nervous system cue, you can guide it. Here's the language shift that makes this workable. Move from "am I good enough?" to "what does this behavior need?" Drop identity verdicts. Use neutral, behavior-focused prompts. Instead of "I'm bad at intros," try "this intro needs 2 reps." Instead of "I always choke on feedback," use "feedback needs a smaller exposure, audience of 1-2 questions." That subtle change shrinks the target from your self-worth to the next action. Let me show you exactly how to apply this in the moment. You feel the chest tightness when you open the dock. Label it protective reflex. Thank it briefly. Yes, literally. Thanks, system, you're trying to keep me safe. Then give it a job that fits, safe reps. Set a 3-minute timer, slap draft V1 at the top, and run one ugly output. You're telling your system, we're not jumping off a cliff, we're stepping onto a curb. The act of moving, inside guardrails, shows your brain there's no tiger here. Mental model time, flight from risk versus reps for strength. Flight says, don't get hurt. Reps say, get stronger at this a little at a time. Flight avoids pain now and pays interest later. Reps accept a tiny, controlled discomfort now to build capacity you actually need. The reason this works is that nervous systems recalibrate through experience, not pep talks. Each safe rep updates the prediction. This is tolerable. I can handle this. A quick micro story. A senior engineer I coach avoided code reviews for weeks after a harsh one. He labeled the panic as a protective reflex and swapped the standard. Instead of submit flawless PRs, he ran draft PRs with 3 comments explaining trade-offs. Audience of 1, his friend on the team. 2 cycles later, his system stopped spiking because it learned. Transparency lowers attack risk. He didn't become fearless. He became practiced at safe exposure. Common mistake here, shaming the shamer. You notice the inner critic and punch back harder. That doubles threat. The move is to redirect, not suppress. Try, critic's job is risk detection, coach's job is planning. Coach, what's the next tiny rep? Then write one keep, grow, fix, schedule the next micro action, and get out. You respect the alarm without letting it run the building. Another practical tool, pre-commit your upgrade slots. When your protector starts whispering, but it's not good enough, you can say, we have a slot for that at 4 p.m., 2 upgrades only. That promise calms the urge to polish now because the system knows refinement isn't being abandoned, it's being sequenced. You're not lowering standards, you're putting them on the right step. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Start by reducing threat, not by demanding bravery. Safety rails are not excuses, they're on-ramps. Draft labels, audiences of one, timers, fixed token sequences, these are how you teach your system that motion is safe. Once motion is safe, quality gets the runway it always needed. Here's a simple self-talk script you can steal. Cue, tension spike. Label, protective reflex. Reframe, I'm avoiding pain, not excellence. Plan, MVP +1 upgrade. Action, 3-minute ugly output, then log keep grow fix. Close, upgrades at 4 p.m., keep it short, spoken out loud if you can. Hearing your own voice makes the plan feel embodied, which drops arousal just enough to move. One more thing that's counterintuitive, compassion speeds throughput. Not the soft, vague kind, the operational kind. Compassion says, given my current state, what design makes success easy? That leads you to smaller scopes, visible progress markers, and quick reviews. The payoff is faster cycles with fewer blowups, which, over time, raises your floor and your ceiling. Stay with me, now that blame is off your back and your system has a job, we're going to install the 5-minute done is better reset as a core ritual so progress becomes the default reaction to threat, not avoidance. The 5-minute done is better reset, core ritual. Let's install the ritual that flips the reward. The goal is simple. Break the avoidance relief and replace it with progress dopamine. You're going to run a tight 5 that produces a visible artifact, captures one lesson, and sets the next tiny step. No willpower, just structure. Step 1 is a 60-second setup. Define the MVP and one upgrade. Ask, what's the smallest unit that proves this exists? Write it in one clear line. MVP equals 5 bullets that tell the story arc. Then choose one upgrade. Upgrade, add one chart. That's your whole job for the next 4 minutes, no extras. Add safety rails. Put draft V1 at the top, pick an audience of 1, and set a 3-minute timer for the ugly action. The rails lower threat, so your system will let you move. Step 2 is the 3-minute ugly action. Produce a visibly imperfect first output. Not notes about it, not research. Output. If you're writing, that's 5 ugly bullets or a bad paragraph. If you're designing, that's gray boxes blocked on a canvas. If you're planning, that's 3 milestones and 1 next action with a date. Your only rule, no fixing during ugly action. If your hands try to polish, stop and type, fix later in brackets. The reason this works is you're swapping the fast relief of avoidance for a series of micro-completions. 3 minutes is short enough to get under your fear and long enough to create proof. Step 3 is the 60-second wrap. Log a quick keep, grow, fix, and the next tiny action. Keep, one thing that landed. Grow, one element to expand. Fix, one snag to trim. Next, schedule a 5-10-minute slot for the upgrade you selected. Write it on your calendar. That scheduled upgrade is the promise that calms the urge to polish now. Let me show you exactly how this runs in real life. You've been dodging a status update. Setup, MVP equals 3-line update. What changed? Blockers next step. Upgrade, add 1 metric. Safety rails on, timer set. Ugly action, write the 3 lines, badly if needed. Don't rephrase, don't wordsmith. When the timer dings, stop. Wrap, keep, clear next step. Grow, add metric. Fix, shorten line 2. Next, at 2:30 p.m., paste metric X. Send the draft to one peer with draft V1 signal only if needed. That's 5 minutes. You got the relief, but from progress. A lot of people ask, why not just keep going when I'm in the zone? Because breaking the time box is how polish sneaks back in. The time box protects you from turning 3 minutes into 3 hours of anxious tweaking. If you hit flow, great, capture it in the next scheduled upgrade. Respect the stop so your system trusts that starting won't trap you. Another common trap, sneaking polish during the ugly action. You'll hear the whisper, just fix this sentence so it reads better. That's the loop trying to reassert control. Write a note to future you, tone and upgrade, and keep moving. The discipline is output over edits. You'll polish with a cooler head in the upgrade slot. If you're under stakeholders who expect perfect, use the rails. Label the artifact draft V1, name the intent, signal only, and limit exposure to one person. You're setting expectations and protecting your nervous system. Most leaders prefer a concrete draft now to a polished ghost later. Let me give you 3 quick templates you can copy for the ugly action. Writing, thesis right arrow example right arrow takeaway as 5 sentences. Ugly on purpose. Slide, title, 1 chart placeholder, 3 bullets. Gray boxes are fine. Plan, 3 milestones with dates and owners, plus 1 next action today. The reason this ritual sticks is habit design. Cue, the tension spike is your trigger. Routine, timer, draft label, ugly output, wrap note. Reward, the log of a done MVP and a scheduled upgrade. That reward competes with avoidance relief. Repeat it daily, and momentum becomes automatic. Micro story, a team lead I coach ran this reset before everyone, one they'd been avoiding. Setup, MVP equals 3 bullets, wins, blocker, ask. Upgrade equals 1 concrete example. Ugly action, write the bullets. Wrap, keep, grow, fix, plus a calendar tick for the example. Their meetings got sharper, dread dropped, and follow-through improved because each conversation had a visible artifact. One last guardrail, protect the 5. If your brain screams, not enough, smile and say, upgrades at 4. Your standard isn't gone, it's sequenced. That's how pros move fast without paying the perfection tax. Run 1 reset today on your stickiest task. Then watch how the urge to avoid shrinks after the first minute. That's the loop flipping. Application 1, writing block. Let's run the reset on the most common pain, writing when your brain refuses to start. The pattern looks like this: endless outlines, 10 headline ideas, 0 paragraphs. You circle the opener because it sets the tone, then the day's gone. We're going to break that by shipping a bad paragraph on purpose fast. Here's the reset move. Step 1, 60-second setup. Define the MVP and 1 upgrade. MVP equals 1 bad paragraph that answers 1 question my reader has. Upgrade, add 1 example. Add safety rails. Title the doc, bad first draft working. Put draft V1 at the top and set a 3-minute timer. Step 2, the 3-minute ugly action. Use a simple scaffold. Thesis, right arrow, example, right arrow, takeaway in 5 sentences. Your first line states the claim. 2 lines provide a rough example. 1 line flags the implication. 1 line gives the reader a next step. No polishing. If you stall, write, fix later, and keep typing. Step 3, 60-second wrap. Log, keep, grow, fix plus next. Keep, clear thesis. Grow, sharper example. Fix, trim sentence 2. Next, schedule a 10-minute edit block later to add that 1 example. Done. Let me show you exactly how it plays out. You're frozen on the intro to a blog post on pricing. Setup, MVP equals bad paragraph answering, why raise prices now? Upgrade, add 1 client example. Timer on, ugly action. If you haven't raised prices in 18 months, your costs already did it for you. A client who delayed for 6 quarters lost margin quietly. When they finally moved, churn didn't spike, upsell did. Waiting feels safer, but it taxes growth. Start by testing a 7% lift on renewals. The timer dings, you stop. Wrap, keep, direct claim. Grow, add metric. Fix, shorten line 3. Next, 3, 10 p.m., add metric. The thing most people miss here is the opener doesn't need to be perfect to unlock the rest. It just needs to exist. You'll tighten tone and upgrade too. For now, you're solving inertia, not eloquence. Common mistakes to avoid. Researching during the 3 minutes. If you reach for Google, you've left the reset. Write ad source and keep going. Editing live. If you backspace more than 3 times, you're polishing. Type, fix later, and move. Expanding scope. You're writing 1 paragraph answering 1 question, not an outline for the whole piece. If your brain fights even that, drop to the 2-sentence draft variant. Sentence 1, claim. Sentence 2, consequence. Example, batching emails by topic increases clarity. You cut context switching and get sharper answers. That's a valid MVP, upgrade later. Here's a template you can steal for any stuck intro. Sentence 1, thesis, state the point plainly. Sentence 2, why it matters, cost of not doing it. Sentence 3, example, rough, even hypothetical. Sentence 4, objection, name the reader's worry. Sentence 5, takeaway, 1 next step they can try. Run it ugly, draft V1 at the top, 3-minute timer, then stop. A quick micro story. A content lead I coach burned 2 mornings on an opening that had to sing. We ran the reset. Her bad paragraph read flat but clear. In the upgrade slot, she swapped the example with a real number from analytics. The piece shipped the same day. The performance, top quartile. Not because the opener was poetic, but because the value was obvious and the draft existed early enough to improve. If you're writing emails, use the 3-line scaffold. Context, right arrow, answer, right arrow, next step. Context, 1 sentence framing the situation. Answer, your recommendation. Next step, what you need and by when. Add draft to the subject until you press send. Remove it only after your timer ends and your keep grow fix is logged. This keeps you out of tone chasing. If fear of sounding dumb spikes, shrink exposure. Audience of 1 first. Ask for signal, not line edits. Is the ask clear? Anything big missing? Signal reduces threat and maximizes learning. Advanced tweak, keep a bad paragraph bank. Every reset, paste your ugly paragraph into that bank. You'll notice patterns, strong claims, weak examples, long setups. That meta feedback is gold. It guides your next reps without drama. Finally, stack wins. Schedule 2 5-minute resets today, 1 for the opener and 1 later for the example upgrade. 2 reps beat a single heroic push because they train your system to expect short, safe, productive bursts. Remember, you're not proving your worth on the first pass. You're building the runway for quality. Timer, draft label, 1 bad paragraph, quick note, scheduled upgrade. That's how you turn writing blocks into throughput. Stay with me. Next, we'll take the same tool into your inbox and clear the replies you've been avoiding. Application 2, Inbox Overwhelm. Now let's take the reset into your inbox, the place where perfectionism wears professionalism as a disguise. The pain looks like this: avoiding important replies because the perfect tone hasn't appeared yet, rereading threads without responding, and expanding a simple answer into a miniature thesis. Every delay spikes dread and makes the next reply feel bigger. Here's the reset move for email. Step 1, 60-second setup. Define the MVP and 1 upgrade. MVP equals 3-line rough reply. Context, right arrow, answer, right arrow, next step. Upgrade equals 1 clarifying detail or metric. Add safety rails, tag the subject with draft, and set a 3-minute timer. Pick an audience of 1 when possible. Reply to the direct requester, not the whole chain. If the thread includes many people, start with a side note to the key person, then expand later if needed. Step 2, 3-minute ugly action. Write the 3-line scaffold. Context, 1 sentence that anchors what you're responding to. Answer, 1 sentence with your decision or recommendation. Next step, 1 sentence with who does what by when. No tone crafting, no extra topics. If you feel the itch to qualify, type add nuance later and keep moving. The goal is clarity and motion, not charm. Step 3, 60-second wrap. Log keep grow fix plus next. Keep, ask is clear. Grow, add 1 link or metric. Fix, trim greeting. Next, schedule a 2-minute pass later to add that single upgrade. Only after the timer ends do you remove the draft, tag and press send, or if stakes are high, send to 1 trusted peer with signal only. Is the ask clear? Let me show you exactly how it plays out. You owe a vendor a timeline update, but you're worried about sounding firm and friendly. Setup, MVP equals 3 lines, upgrade add date. Subject becomes draft, timeline update. Ugly action. Context, following up on the integration deliverables from last Friday's call. Answer, we're green to start phase 2 once the API endpoint is verified. Next step, please confirm verification by Wednesday 3 p.m. If confirmed, we'll kick off Thursday. Timer dings. Wrap, keep, dates are clear. Grow, add Jira link. Fix, remove extra adjective. Next, 2:40 p.m. pace link. Remove draft, send. Why this works? Clarity beats tone when stakes are moderate, and even in high-stakes cases, clarity first gives you something to refine. Also, the draft label lowers perceived social risk while you move. You're not avoiding tone, you're sequencing it. Common mistakes to avoid. Rewriting for tone before sending. That's polishing to soothe anxiety. Get the signal first. Adding extra topics to maximize the email. 1 email, 1 objective. Park other topics in a separate draft. CC creep. More recipients increase perceived threat. Keep it tight unless policy requires otherwise. Thread archaeology. You don't need to reread the entire chain to send a clear next step. Anchor to the last actionable message. If you're worried about sounding abrupt, use the warm frame, crisp core pattern, one warm opener clause, then the 3-line core. For example, thanks for the quick turnaround here, context. Answer. Next step. Keep the warmth short, it's an upgrade, not the MVP. Here's a template bank you can steal. Stakeholder update. Context. Quick status on X answer. We're on track off track because Y next step. Decision needed by Z. Clarification request. Context to move X forward. Answer, need A or B confirmed. Next step, please reply with A, B by Z. Pushback, context on the proposed scope. Answer, at current resources, we can deliver X, not Y. Next step, choose X or add resources, happy to discuss. A quick micro story. A team ops lead I coach sat on 3 approvals because she feared sounding demanding. We ran the reset with the draft, tag, and 3-line scaffold. She sent all 3 in 9 minutes. 2 approved immediately. The 3rd asked 1 question she answered in the upgrade slot. Her Sunday dread dropped because there were no ghost threads left. If you face legal or brand constraints, keep the core, then add a review gate. Draft V1 to comms. Signal only. Is the ask clear and compliant? Audience of 1, 2 questions max. This keeps you out of committee tone debates and gets you a green light or a specific fix. Batching helps too. Set a 5-minute block and run 3 resets back to back. Subject tags on, timers rolling, 1 upgrade per email after the batch. You'll feel the momentum snowball because each send gives a small relief hit, now from progress, not avoidance. One last guardrail, if your brain insists it needs more context, write the 3 lines first, then add 1 link or file in the upgrade. The link is rarely the blocker, indecision is. Run this today on your most dreaded reply. Draft on, 3 lines out, 1 upgrade later. You'll watch your inbox shrink and your stress drop because the loop finally flipped in your favor. Application 3, project start and planning. Now let's use the reset to break the overplanning trap. The pain here is sneaky. You're waiting for the perfect system, the perfect template, or the perfect clarity before you start. You build dashboards, compare tools, collect frameworks, and the project still hasn't moved an inch. We're going to flip that by shipping an MVP plan in 3 minutes, then adding 1 upgrade. Here's the reset move. Step 1, 60-second setup. Define the MVP and 1 upgrade. MVP equals 1-page plan with 3 milestones, dates, and owners, plus the first action today. Upgrade, add 1 risk with a mitigation. Add safety rails. Title the file Project X MVP Plan V1, put Draft V1 at the top, pick an audience of 1 for review, and set a 3-minute timer. Step 2, the 3-minute ugly action. Use this scaffold. Milestone 1, outcome plus date plus owner. Milestone 2, outcome plus date plus owner. Milestone 3, outcome plus date plus owner. First action, 1 task you can do today with a timestamp. No Gantt charts, no tool hopping, no assumptions about perfect capacity. Gray boxes beat blank pages. Step 3, 60-second wrap. Log keep grow fix plus next. Keep, critical path identified. Grow, add 1 risk. Fix, tighter milestone wording. Next, schedule a 10-minute upgrade to add that single risk mitigation and tighten phrasing. Send the draft to your audience of 1 with signal only. Does the sequence make sense? Let me show you exactly how it plays out for a website refresh. Setup, MVP equals 3 milestones, dates, owners, first action today. Upgrade, add 1 risk. Timer on, ugly action. M1, content audit complete, Feb 7, Alex. M2, wireframes approved, Feb 21, Priya. M3, launch Mar 12 team. First action, today 2, 15/2, 30 p.m. list top 20 pages for audit. Timer dings. Wrap, keep, milestones are linear. Grow, add risk, stakeholder drift. Fix, clarify owners. Next, 3:00 p.m. add risk and mitigation. Why this works? A 1-page plan eliminates ambiguity without inviting perfection spirals. You anchor the project to outcomes and dates, then create a single behavior you will do today. That first action turns the plan from a document into motion. Common mistakes to avoid. Building tools before tasks. New boards and labels feel productive, but don't move the critical path. Tool upgrades belong after the MVP exists. Gold plating plans. If your plan requires cross-linking 5 systems before work starts, you've built a new project called Plan the Plan. Expanding scope mid-draft. Park ideas in a later box. The MVP is 3 milestones, not a 20-step WBS. Use this template to keep it tight. Scope line, success equals X outcome by Y date. Milestones X3, outcome date owner. First action, verb plus object plus when plus where. Upgrade, 1 risk plus 1 mitigation. If a stranger can read it and know what happens when, you've done enough. Here's a micro story. A PM I coached delayed a Q2 roadmap because leadership alignment. We wrote an MVP plan in 3 minutes. 3 milestones, dates, owners, first action, book 20 min sync with Eng lead at 4 p.m. She sent it labeled draft V1 signal only. The VP replied, sequence looks right. Add risk, dependency on data team. 10-minute upgrade, done. Momentum continued because the plan existed early. If stakeholders expect perfect plans, set a review gate. Draft V1 for sequence approval, details in V2. That frames iteration so feedback feels like part of the process, not a failure. Pro tip, cap the canvas. 1 page, visible without scrolling. Constraints force decisions. If it doesn't fit, you're planning too much or naming milestones as tasks. Combine tasks under outcomes, milestones should change the project state. What about uncertainty? Use flexible dates with clear order. Week of Mar 10 beats TBD because TBD invites drift. You can refine later. Remember, MVP plus 1 upgrade. The upgrade can be a lightweight timeline or a risk grid, but only after the skeleton stands. Blocked on owners, assign a temporary owner with a note. Owner, Alex temp confirm. Waiting for perfect ownership creates idle time. Temporary assignments keep motion and surface alignment needs fast. To make this stick, schedule a recurring 5-minute plan refresh. Same ritual, confirm milestones, log keep grow fix, commit 1 next action. Small, frequent adjustments beat occasional, heroic replans. You'll spend less time making the plan pretty and more time shipping the plan's outcomes. Quick checklist you can say out loud. Success line written. 3 milestones with dates and owners. First action scheduled today. 1 risk named with a mitigation. Draft V1 sent to an audience of 1. Run this reset today for your most avoided project. 1 page, 3 milestones, 1 action now. Publish to a single stakeholder. You'll feel the dread drop because ambiguity is gone and motion has started. Now we'll take the same tool and unstick decision paralysis in 5 minutes flat. Application 4, decision paralysis. Decisions get stuck when your brain demands perfect certainty before it will move. That's stage 1 and 2 teaming up, an idealized right answer, plus a threat appraisal that says any wrong step is fatal. The result? Endless comparison, new tabs, and no commitment. We'll break that by running a 5-minute reversible decision, pass that trades certainty for a short, safe test. Here's the reset move. Step 1, 60-second setup. Define the decision in 1 sentence, then force only 2 options for this pass. Right. Decision, choose X or Y for now. Next, define your reversible threshold. This choice is reversible within 7 days with low cost. Add 1 success metric. Finally, choose the next step that collects signal. You've just shrunk a life verdict into a bounded experiment. Step 2, 3-minute ugly action. Use the scaffold. Decision, name it plainly. Options 2 only, X and Y. Reversible threshold, time window and cost you'll tolerate. Success metric, 1 number or binary outcome. Next step, a concrete action to test the frontrunner. Write it badly, but write it. Your goal is not a manifesto, it's a test plan you can execute today. The moment you constrain to 2, your brain relaxes. Choice overload drops and movement returns. Step 3, 60-second wrap. Log keep grow fix plus next. Keep, decision is defined. Grow, clarify metric. Fix, short next step. Next, schedule a 10-minute block to run the test. If stakes are political, send this 1-pager to an audience of 1 labeled draft V1 signal only, any red flags. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. You're frozen choosing a project management tool. Setup. Decision, use Tool A or Tool B for Q1. Options A, B. Reversible threshold, switching within 14 days, acceptable. Success metric, 90% of weekly tasks captured and closed. Next step, pilot B with 1 squad for 7 days. Timer dings. Wrap, keep, clear threshold. Grow, add import risk. Fix, shorten step. Next, 4 p.m., create pilot board. Why this works? Your nervous system hates permanent bets but tolerates trials. By defining reversibility and the metric up front, you remove identity threat and give your future self an exit. The relief you used to get from delaying shows up when you schedule the test. Common mistakes to avoid. Seeking perfect certainty before testing. Certainty comes from data, data comes from motion. Adding new options mid-process. That's just avoidance in a lab coat. Park them in a later box. Vague metrics like feels better. Pick something countable or binary. Open-ended trials. Without a review date, trials become default decisions. Use this template for any stuck choice. Decision, choose A or B for now. Options, A, B. Reversible threshold. We can reverse within X days for Y or with Z effort. Success metric, we hit N by date D or binary, pass-fail. Next step, run a 7-day test of A, book a 15-minute review on D. If your fear is reputational, what if I look indecisive? Pre-frame it. We're running a time-bound pilot to reduce risk. Decision locks on D unless data says otherwise. Leaders respect structured bets more than vague confidence. Here's a micro story. A founder I coach stalled on picking a pricing model for months. We ran the reversible pass, 2 options, a 14-day window, 1 success metric, trial to paid conversion. Next step was a 7-day A/B on the checkout page. They locked the winner at day 9. The delay had felt prudent. The test made prudence measurable. What about career decisions? Same play. Decision, apply for internal lead role or pursue external path. Options, internal, external. Reversible threshold, 30 days to explore with minimal social cost. Success metric, number of meaningful conversations plus 1 concrete opportunity. Next step, book 2 informational chats and update resume for 1 posting. You're not choosing a life, you're testing 2 doors. Analysis paralysis thrives on forever thinking. Kill forever. Use for now until review on D. That phrase lowers threat and gives you permission to gather signal. You'll find that once a test is scheduled, the mental static drops because your system sees a plan. 2 safety rails help. First, the rule of 2 for options. Second, the 1 metric law. If you expand to 4 options and 5 metrics, you've recreated the swamp. Keep it tight so the reset stays 5 minutes. Watch for these tells that perfectionism is back. You invent edge cases, you widen the audience, or you delay the review date. Edge cases belong in a risk note, audience of 1 only, review stays on the calendar. When the review date hits, run a 2-minute verdict. Did we hit the metric? Yes, no. If yes, lock for the next cycle. If no, switch or extend for 1 more defined window, then lock. No identity debates. No post-mortem spirals. You're training decisiveness through reps, not through genius. Run 1 reversible decision today on something you've been spinning on: tool, outreach, content format, even meeting cadence. 2 options, 1 metric, 7-day test, review booked. You'll feel that familiar relief, now earned by motion, not by postponement. That's the loop flipping again. Application 5, feedback and reviews. Perfectionism hijacks feedback in 2 ways. You avoid it until late because it feels dangerous, or you over-edit for days trying to preempt every comment. Both moves kill learning. We're going to turn feedback into a small, safe rep that improves quality fast without spiking threat. Here's the reset move. Step 1, 60-second setup. Define the MVP and 1 upgrade. MVP, send a 3-minute request for rough feedback with goal right arrow, what's rough right arrow, 1-2 questions. Upgrade, apply 1 change. Add safety rails, audience of 1, draft label on the artifact, and signal only in the message. Set a 3-minute timer. Step 2, the 3-minute ugly action. Write the request using this scaffold. Goal, 1 line about what you're trying to achieve. What's rough? 1 or 2 parts you know aren't final. Questions, 1 or 2 specific prompts that target the signal you need. Then attach the MVP artifact, even if it feels embarrassingly simple. Your aim is to harvest directional signal, not line edits or validation. Step 3, 60-second wrap. Log keep grow fix plus next. Keep, ask is clear. Grow, add 1 constraint. Fix, shorten context. Next, schedule a 10-minute slot to apply exactly 1 upgrade from the feedback. Let me show you exactly how it plays out. You've got a draft slide. Setup, MVP equals request with goal rough questions. Upgrade, apply 1 change. Timer on, ugly action. Goal, I'm clarifying the story for the QBR kickoff. What's rough? Examples and order are placeholders. Questions, 1, is the sequence logical? 2, which example best shows impact? Attach draft V1 with gray boxes and bullets. Send to 1 trusted peer with signal only, timer dings. Wrap. Next, 2, 20 p.m., incorporate 1 change. Why this works? You're lowering social cost and constraining the review. Most people give you what you ask for thoughts, and you get a scatter shot. Ask, is the sequence logical? And you get the 1 answer that matters now. Common mistakes to avoid. Fishing for praise. Praise is nice, it doesn't guide edits. Ask for signal. Asking too many questions. Cap at 2 to focus the reviewer and your upgrade. Inviting a committee. More eyes widen the threat window. Audience of 1, then expand if needed. Overprepping the draft. Feedback velocity beats pre-polish. You'll polish after signal. Use this template for your message. Subject, draft V1, signal only. Body, goal, X rough. Y questions, 1A, 2B. If helpful, I'll apply 1 change today. That last line sets the expectation you're moving, not debating. If fear spikes, what if they tear it apart? Use safety rails. Label the draft, specify, signal, not line edits, and pre-commit to 1 upgrade. You're showing you value their time and your pace. Now here S where most people mess up after feedback. They try to fix everything at once. That's a new perfection trap. Choose 1 change that moves the whole piece forward, order, clarity of the hook, or the 1 example that lands. Then lock a 2nd upgrade slot later if needed. 2 upgrades, not 12. Let me give you a micro story. A founder I coach avoided investor feedback because it felt like judgment. We ran the scaffold. She sent a 2-slide draft with goal, rough questions. She got 1 note. Your traction example is buried, lead with it. 10-minute upgrade, traction first. The deck clicked. Her system learned, targeted feedback reduces work. Another tool, review gates. Gate 1 is structure only, sequence, headline, key metric. Gate 2 is example quality. Gate 3 is polish. Label your requests with the gate number so reviewers don't jump ahead. Draft V1, Gate 1, structure check. That protects you from line edits before the bones are right. When you're the reviewer, mirror the same discipline. Answer their questions, 1 keep grow fix and 1 next step. You'll teach your team the same low threat, high signal cadence. What if stakeholders expect perfect before reviewing? Frame it up front. I use an iteration cadence to move faster without sacrificing quality. Here's draft V1 for structure only. Polish comes in V3. Most leaders accept iteration when it's explicit and time-bound. Batching helps here too. Run a 5-minute block, ship 2 rough feedback requests, then book a 10-minute slot later to apply 1 upgrade to each. The rhythm creates throughput without long delays. Finally, close the loop. When you apply the upgrade, reply with the change and a screenshot. Applied, traction first. Next, tighten headline at 4 p.m. That tiny follow-up builds trust and keeps you out of endless revisions. Remember, ask for signal, not salvation. Goal, what's rough, 2 questions. Audience of 1. Draft label, 1 upgrade applied. That's how feedback stops being a threat and becomes the fuel that raises your quality without paying the perfection tax. Building the habit, make the reset stick. Let's turn the reset from a cool trick into your default response to tension. The habit lives or dies on cues, a simple routine, and a reward your brain actually feels. We'll wire all 3 so you don't need willpower. First, the cue, use the tension spike as your trigger. It's that micro flinch when you hover over send, open a blank doc, or see a big task on your calendar. Name it out loud. Cue protective reflex. That label is your green light. No debate. The spike means you run the reset. Now the routine. Keep it stupid simple. Timer, draft label, ugly output, quick note. Put a one-click 3-minute timer on your desktop or phone. Create text expanders for draft V1 signal only and your keep grow fix template. Pre-make file names with outcome plus date V1 so just title takes 2 seconds. The less thinking, the more doing. The reward is what makes it stick. Don't chase pride, chase proof. After each reset, log the rep and one tiny progress metric. Rep 1, output 5 bullets. Sent, yes. Upgrade scheduled. 2:30 p.m. Seeing a visible streak taps the same reinforcement that used to come from avoidance relief. You're teaching your brain that starting pays. Once you nail that, everything else clicks. Let's build streaks. Track daily 5-minute resets. 1 is enough to keep the chain alive. 2 to 3 on big days is icing. Consistency beats volume. Miss a day, don't spiral. Reset the streak and win today with 1 rep. The identity becomes, I'm someone who runs a reset when the tension spikes. Environment matters more than motivation. Lower friction everywhere. Templates for the 3-line email, the bad paragraph scaffold, the MVP plan, the reversible decision sheet, and the feedback request. Park them in a pinned folder called MVP Start. Keep a visible timer on your desk or browser. Add a draft, subject macro. If it takes more than 10 seconds to launch, you'll drift. Now here's where most people mess up. They think accountability means big status checks. That raises threat and invites perfection. Use a coach buddy instead. Once a week, share MVP plus 1 upgrade for your top avoided task. No scorecards, no judgment. You both post a screenshot of the artifact and the next upgrade slot. The rule, celebrate output, not polish. Let me give you a 1-minute habit install you can run today. Create a reset card you can glance at when you feel the flinch. Cue, tension spike equals run reset. Routine, timer, draft label, ugly output, keep grow fix. Reward, log rep plus schedule 1 upgrade. Stick that card on your monitor. The visual becomes a cue amplifier, so the loop fires before avoidance scripts spool up. A quick micro story. A sales lead I coach paired the cue with calendar friction. They set a 2-minute reset buffer before every prospect email block. Buffer hits, tension spikes, card comes out, 3-minute ugly pass, log, upgrade later. Within 2 weeks, open loops in the pipeline dropped by half, not because skill jumped overnight, but because starts became automatic. You'll want a morning priming ritual too. In 2 minutes, pick your 1 rep that earns the day. Write it on a sticky. Today's rep, send rough roadmap outline. Put a checkbox next to it. That visible promise shrinks task switching and gives you a clear finish line. Let's add 2 pattern interrupts for the 2 p.m. slump. First, the 2-sentence draft microvariant. If 3 minutes feels heavy, type 2 sentences that make a claim and consequence. That's a valid rep. Second, the open title send sprint. Open the doc, title it with outcome plus date V1, paste 1 bullet from your notes, and send to an audience of 1 with signal only. 90 seconds, streak saved. Now, troubleshooting inside the habit. If you forget the ritual, attach it to a daily trigger you already do. First coffee, calendar review, or the start of deep work. Run 1 reset immediately after that trigger for a week. If you keep polishing, enforce the time box with a hard stop sound and stand up when it dings. Write future, you a fix note in brackets to reduce the itch. Stakeholders expecting perfect, normalize iterations in your language. I ship V1 for signal by noon, V2 with polish tomorrow. Over time, they'll associate your name with fast movement and steady upgrades, which buys you more space for rough passes. Metrics keep you honest. Track 3, throughput MVPs shipped, cycle time, start to V2, and upgrade count per artifact. You want steady MVP throughput, decreasing cycle time, and 1 to 2 upgrades per iteration. If upgrades spike to 5+, you're slipping into perfection spirals, cap them, and schedule a new pass. Finally, make it fun. Create a simple scoreboard. Every rep earns a point. Shipping a V2 earns a star. 10 points unlock a small reward, walk, snack playlist. It's silly on purpose. Your brain is a reinforcement machine. Feed it. The habit isn't heroic. It's mechanical. Cue the flinch, run the routine, log the win, schedule the next tiny step. Do that daily, and the reset moves from a tool you use to the way you work. Troubleshooting, common pitfalls and fixes. I don't have 5 minutes. Run a 2-minute version, 30-second setup, 60-second ugly action, 30-second wrap. 1 rep still flips the loop. I keep polishing. Time box with a loud timer. When it dings, type upgrade, tone trim at 4 p.m. and stop. Standing up helps break the grip. My standards drop. You're only lowering standards for V1. Pre-commit MVP plus 2 upgrades, and write the 2 upgrades at the top before you start. I forget the ritual. Pair it with a daily trigger, first coffee or calendar review. Keep a reset card on your monitor. Cue right arrow, routine right arrow reward. Stakeholders expect perfect. Label artifacts, draft V1, signal only, define the gate structure, not polish, and give a V2 time. I relapse into avoidance. Reset the streak today with 1 tiny rep, 2-sentence draft or open title send. Log it. Motion restores trust. Bonus, drowning in edge cases, park them in a later box. The reset serve starts, upgrade serve standards. Move first, improve second. Advanced insight, quality through iterations. Let's zoom out and talk about quality. The thing most people miss is that high quality rarely comes from a heroic first pass. It comes from tight iteration cycles, draft, feedback, upgrade, repeat. When you shift your attention from perfect now to faster loops, your quality rises because you're compounding learning, not hoarding it. Why this works? Real-world constraints and user needs are messy. You can't predict every edge case from your chair. Iterations pull reality into the process early, so your choices are informed by signal, not fear. The reason this feels calmer is that you're spreading risk across small bets instead of one giant launch that must be flawless. Here's a simple model you can use. Draft right arrow feedback right arrow upgrade. That's 1 cycle. Chain 2 or 3 cycles and you've essentially compressed weeks of guessing into hours of guided improvement. The draft exposes your assumptions, feedback provides the correction, and the upgrade locks the gain. Rinse and repeat. Let me show you exactly how to design those cycles. Pre-schedule upgrade slots the moment you create a V1. For example, V1 at 10 a.m., upgrade slot at 2 p.m., second upgrade tomorrow 10 a.m. This does 2 things. First, it caps perfection spirals because you know there's a place to fix things later. Second, it speeds decisions because stakeholders see a path for refinements without blocking the current step. You'll want a few simple metrics to keep your process honest. Throughput, how many MVPs or drafts you ship per week. Cycle time, how long it takes to go from V1 to V2. Upgrade count, how many upgrades per artifact. If throughput is low, your starts are stuck. If cycle time is long, your feedback loops are clogged. If upgrade count is 5+ on each pass, you're slipping back into all-or-nothing polish. Aim for steady throughput, shrinking cycle times, and 1 to 2 upgrades per pass. Now here's where most people mess up. They skip the upgrade entirely, V1 goes out, then life happens, and quality stalls. Or they swing to the other extreme and hoard upgrades into a mega session that burns 2 hours and fries their focus. The better way is micro-upgrades. 1 change that lifts the whole piece, then stop. You'll be surprised how often one well-chosen upgrade unlocks the next level without the pain. A practical cadence you can adopt this week. Morning, ship 1 V1 before noon. Afternoon, apply 1 upgrade based on signal. Next morning, apply a second upgrade or lock and move on. That cadence gives your nervous system a predictable rhythm. Start, refine, refine, ship, so it stops demanding perfection up front. Let me give you a micro story. A product marketer I coach used to spend 3 days crafting a launch brief before sharing it. We switched to a 2-day iteration cadence. Day 1 morning, V1 skeleton with bullets. Day 1 afternoon, apply 1 structural upgrade based on PM feedback. Day 2 morning, add examples and final numbers. By lunchtime, V2.5 was stronger than her old Day 3 opus, and the team had already aligned because they were in the loop early. If you remember nothing else about iterations, remember this: quality hides in the sequence, not the speed. The right order, structure first, examples second, polish last, prevents waste. Review gates help here. Gate 1, structure only. Gate 2, evidence and examples. Gate 3, tone and polish. Label each request with the gate so feedback matches the phase. You'll save hours by not debating commas on a skeleton. Another lever is deliberate practice inside your cycles. Pick one micro skill per week to upgrade on purpose, writing tighter intros, choosing sharper metrics, simplifying charts. Each V1 gets a note. This week's rep, tighten intros. By the time the week ends, that micro skill has 5-10 reps, which quietly raises your baseline on future projects. Let's talk about the emotional payoff. Iteration shrinks the shame window. Instead of "I must deliver perfect," your identity becomes "I deliver versions that improve quickly." That's a reputation people trust. Stakeholders stop micromanaging because your cadence shows you'll handle refinements on schedule. One more advanced move, portfolio-level iteration. Don't just iterate within an artifact, iterate across artifacts. For example, after 3 feedback loops on a slide, port the winning structure to your team's template. After 2 successful reversible decisions, standardize the 1-metric rule in your decision docs. Reuse is iteration's cousin. It multiplies the wins. If you want a sanity check each week, run a 2-minute review. What did I ship V1 of? What did I upgrade once or twice? What did I polish too early? Then set one constraint for next week. 2 V1s by Wednesday, 1 upgrade per artifact, polish only in gate 3. Write it on a sticky. Constraints create freedom. They stop you from negotiating with perfection mid-flight. And yes, there are limits. Some work really does need deeper first-pass quality, legal filings, public releases, safety-critical code. Even there, you can apply the principle inside safe sandboxes. Internal V1s, simulated runs, private reviews. It's not iteration or quality, it's iteration to quality. The punchline: pros move the bar by moving. They don't wait to feel ready. They line up small, safe reps, collect signal fast, and schedule upgrades. That's how velocity and quality become partners instead of rivals. You've already got the 5-minute reset. Pair it with 2 planned upgrades and a gate label, and you'll watch quality climb without the perfection tax. Here's the takeaway. Perfectionism is a safety reflex that freezes starts. Small, timed reps plus planned upgrades turn safety into steady motion and motion into quality. Run one 5-minute reset today on your most avoided task, then schedule 2 upgrade slots. If you want the deeper system for iteration gates and metrics, watch the next video on advanced iteration loops, and subscribe so you don't miss the pro-level playbook. Quick win in the bank already. Now you'll see the loop map that explains why the reset worked. Once you spot the engine, you can shut it off in under 5 minutes anytime it starts. Stay with me here. This next shift turns shame into a coaching cue. The second you label protective reflex, your brain stops arguing and starts moving. That's the unlock. Right after the next example, we're going to run the 5-minute reset together, timer and all. You'll leave with a finished MVP you can send, not just notes about it. 2 more real-world scenarios, then I'll show you how to make this automatic so you don't need willpower. Templates, timers, and a 2-sentence variant for those heavy days. Last piece coming up unlocks quality without paying the perfection tax. You'll get iteration gates that raise your bar on schedule instead of in a panic. You felt that tension spike earlier? That's your cue. In a minute, I'll show you exactly how to turn that flinch into a start you can trust. Don't click away yet. One subtle mistake makes perfectionism worse. Sneaking polish into V1. I'll show you how to park it without losing it. If you've ever thought, "I'll start when it's clearer," the next bit shows why clarity shows up after you move, not before. Short, safe tests beat big, confident guesses. We're about to turn feedback from a threat into fuel. One line in your request changes the response you get and how fast you improve. You're one 5-minute rep away from flipping your loop today. Keep watching. We'll stack 2 upgrades on top so quality rises without the spiral.